let's get started. All right, so grad school decisions. So the key thing with grad school decisions, so to go or not to go. So with graduate school decisions, it is important to keep these four things in mind whenever you're thinking about graduate school. So your graduate experience is a lot different from your undergraduate one. So graduate school is going to provide you with a more intense, a more academic experience, focusing on one single area of a study. So that is very important to note whenever you're thinking about going to graduate school. So whatever field that you're looking into, whichever program you're looking into, is going to focus on that one single area of study. So, because of its demands on your time and financial resources, graduate school will greatly influence 2 to maybe 7 years of your life. So, it's important to do that research ahead of time and see how long this is going to take you. So, is it going to take you 2 years if you do it as an in person program, or is it going to take you a year or maybe 3 years to finish if you were to do it as an online program? So, also taking that into account. And so your graduate studies may shape your future career options. So you may go to graduate school and find something totally different that you wanted to go into. It happens, that's just life. It happens sometimes. And you may also find different career options that are just right for your specific field that you're going into or program that you're going into. And so, as everyone knows, COVID-19 is real. I hate it, but in a pandemic, going to graduate school can feel like the only option. So know that many fields they are still hiring for your bachelor's degree, and we always tell students just keep on applying, and really, see what options there are out there for you because I mean, grad school is not the only option. So research the job search and your industry before making your decision because grad school is a commitment. It is definitely a commitment for time. It's a commitment for money, and it's a commitment just overall for more of your professional development. And then remember that employers are always value practical on the job experience that balances with educational degrees. So, say you may not have much experience in the field that you want to go into with your bachelor's degree, and say getting a master's may help that. And it can. You can have a variety of different options when you go to graduate school. You can get a graduate assistantship or a teaching assistantship, and then expand your opportunities more and more as you are getting closer to completing graduate school. So in the beginning stages, so selecting a program when you're looking at graduate school. So establish initial program selection criteria. So when you're looking at these different graduate programs, look for those that will best meet your career and learning objectives. What are you going to get out of it? Is it going to overall help you be a better professional when you get out of that field or out of that program? And so conduct a thorough self evaluation by clearly defining your own needs and expectations. What do you want to get out of the program? What are different areas of the program that they are going to provide you? And what are different things that the program is going to overall provide you professionally? And then another thing with selecting a program is to establish your own criteria for selecting programs. So you want to answer these following questions. What must the graduate program offer academically in order to meet my career goals? What do I want to get out of the program? Is that more internship experience? Is that more hands-on experience? Is that more experiences with different fields and different people? And then what size program or university do you want to attend? Do you want to attend a large public SEC school? Or do you want to attend a small private school that's in your city? Or do you want to attend a public school that is, out of state? You also have to take those things into option in consideration because out of state tuition, in state tuition, how you want that to look. And then what else might you want from a program? Do you just want to experience just a new environment? Do you want to experience different things, different cultures at different universities within this different program that you're going into? Anything that you want to get out of this program, write that down and use that when you're selecting a program. Also, develop a list of programs to consider. So as you look at programs, compare them to the criteria that you constructed so far in that first slide. So values, beliefs, what you want to get out of that program, what does that program provide for you, and how do they measure up with the different programs that you have selected. So whenever you are choosing a graduate school, so you want to develop a list of 15 to 20 schools of initial interest to you. And you can break that number down to as many as you want. Some students break it down to five top schools, some students break it down to top three schools. But initially, you want to have a rough number of 15 to 20 schools of initial interest and then break down the criteria. So after you define your program expectations, it's time to find ones that most closely match your requirements. So which one really showcases those values, those beliefs, those different experiences that you're looking to get. So the resources listed below may prove useful in conducting your search. And I will drop these in the chat as well when this is over, but you can take a picture of that if you want, and I'll give you a second to do that. So gradschools.com, online PhD programs, all that good stuff. All right, so moving on. So the timeline. Timeline for people who are choosing to go into grad school is usually their junior year of undergrad. So this is just the ideal time that we see when students start and begin to researching these different programs. So it's best to think of the graduate application process 1 year before the program start date. We always say 1 year because when you're doing your research, there may be standardized tests that you have to take. There may be the GRE. There may be the got the other tests, but GRE is usually the biggest test that you usually have to take. And then you want to develop a list of individuals who can write your letters of recommendations. I think this is really the most important thing when it comes to figuring out what you want to do. Getting those letter of recommendations are definitely an important aspect, especially if you've already graduated, because now you want to figure out, okay, what supervisor can I reach out to? What past professor can I reach out to give me this letter of recommendation? And then, like I mentioned again, begin exploring graduate school funding resources. So, do they provide a graduate assistantship? Do they provide teaching assistantships? What type of loans do they provide, or what type of grants do they provide for students who can't afford to do this graduate assistantship or teaching assistantship? Yes, so this PowerPoint will be provided to download after the expo as well. So senior year. So senior year, first semester. Whenever you're doing your search with grad school, this is where you want to begin, writing that statement of purpose. And then asking a faculty to write your letters of recommendation. So you want to have that 6 week timeline. So give them about 6 weeks to write these letter of recommendations because they're going to be busy. They're going to be packed with different things that they have to do. So give them enough ample time to actually sit down, look at your resume, and then write that letter of recommendation of why you should be considered. And then the third bullet point is submitting your applications. So some of these applications may have you send in official transcripts. So work with the office of the university registrar office on what that cost looks like and how quick can they get that to that specific school. I would say you definitely don't want to wait until last minute with that, because a lot of schools, a lot of graduate schools have strict deadlines that you have to stick to and have to have materials in by. And so second semester, so you can complete and mail the FAFSA if you're applying for federal student aid, and then verify that all your application materials were received, and then write thank you notes. So usually with thank you notes, in this virtual setting, do it via email. We have a resource in our student career guide on our career site on how you can format and go about those thank you notes. And this is usually just for people who assisted you during this process. So those people who are writing those letter of recommendations, or the people that looked over your cover letter or personal statement or resume. But those, if not any of those people, you always want to focus on the people who wrote those letters of recommendation because they didn't have to do that. they took the time out of their day to really focus on why you were a good candidate and why you would be a good fit for that program. And so key partnerships. So these are just some additional resources and departments on campus that help you with the graduate school decision making process, application process. So different LSU faculty and staff members. The writing center is definitely a key. So getting them to look over some personal statements or additional essays, making sure grammar and everything is right. The Student Financial Management Center. This is a great resource to provide you a more in-depth detail on how to improve your budget and manage your debt. And then also the Career Center. So working with us one on one, scheduling those appointments to look over your resume or look over your cover letter, or even doing a mock interview for when you do have that interview for the review committee to get admitted into the graduate school. And then specific schools of interest. So reach out to the programs themselves, reach out to the admissions office, reach out to the recruiters or program directors, and you can reach out via email, LinkedIn, etc. Any professional network that you are on, reach out to them or reach out to different alumni that you may know who graduated from that specific program and get their point of view on what they like most about that program. Are there any questions? So you can either drop them in the chat or unmute your mic.
Does it typically like cost money when you apply to graduate schools, like for undergrad schools?
Yeah. So it just really depends on the school. So usually they do have the application fees. Application fees are usually, it ranges. It just depends on the university. Some range from $40, some range to $50. But it shouldn't go over no more than 50 for the application. Good question though. Any more questions? Let's see. Do you recommend staying in state for grad school? Honestly, well, I'm a second year master's student. I did not stay in state. I actually went out of state. So I'm originally from South Carolina and I came to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. For me personally, I wanted a different experience. I was tired of being at home. And I wanted to get away and experience a new environment. But I would say if you are a person that would like to explore different opportunities and just explore and meet new people, yeah, go out of state. But if you have a family, if you want to stay close to family, if family is one of your values, stay close, stay in state. I don't think it will hurt to stay in state or even go out of state. It's really just a personal decision that you have to make for yourself. No problem, no problem.